right. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of a first experience for me. But I was, I guess, like the viewers are listening, I was telling the boys earlier, I purchased an orc starter set for a game called BlackStone. And if people are unfamiliar with BlackStone, it's essentially kind of like D&D, except it comes with the fantasy in the 40K universe. And you build the models. It has like kind of a set structure. You got dice, you got movement, and won't go too much. Everyone's pretty much an expert in that field here. So, but the lore is really cool with it because Blackstone's essentially these massive ships that come from like decades and decades before kind of you're playing, and they're like hundreds and thousands of years old, and they got like crazy loot from like a different time. And a lot of the stories like based on like chaos and like demons, so you're like fighting through these like levels that are kind of randomized with tiles that you have. It comes with like the set, and then you kind of go through there, and there's like dungeons, and there's a bunch of lore that goes with it. Really cool stuff to even just play, and especially we have a lot of newer guys that in my kind of like rugby club here that are like getting really into it, guys that wouldn't really step into like kind of like the tabletop anything, and they're like really into it now. So it's like it's cool to bring people into it. But I'm having kind of like this first experience where I wanted to surprise my roommate and build like an entire new kind of Blackstone. So scrap the, I guess, like lore and kind of like all the dungeons or like dungeons you got to kind of go through, and kind of building my own lore with like the green or like the orcs. So I bought like an entire set, and I'm building and modeling them all up and making new rules for them, and like which is like correlation to like the lore with the orcs, and it's super fun and wacky because they're already a pretty weird race to begin with. Like they're also, I think they're technically non-binary, so it's pretty cool. Like they don't have like sexes. They're fungus. They're essentially spores. Yeah. So like they don't really have a gender. They're just like they're genetically kind of made.
They're just South Londoners. That's it.
Yeah, like they're just monsters. But they're like the way they kind of play like with like in the regular games, it's like silly. Like it feels like someone made the rules up for them because it's kind of how they are. They're just like a race that has the ability to space travel but doesn't know how to actually put everything together. Just like they just like put machines together and they're like, oh, it kind of works, and just go from there. But the cool part about it is like building the dungeon, and I've never been in a seat or like a position where I'm always played played D&D, like I just like joined in. I never had the ability to kind of like create the atmosphere and like storytelling. So it's really fun. I mean, like I guess I'm opening the field kind of like questionnaires to you guys as well, as like when you have gone through that experience, like what are your kind of like what are the hardest points on like building a story that's like capturing new and experienced players to kind of like a tabletop setting area?
So this is like your first time running a game.
First time, right? Yeah. And this is like still like it's still in the process. So like a lot of the stuff and structure I'm going for is still in the works. But I have to basically, the assumption is I have to have 4 like kind of stronghold missions, which are like the big ones that kind of set the story up. And then I need to have like 5 or 6 different like mini missions or like set piece stuff. So like it can be like the whole tile pieces and like the map's really big and you got to go here to here, or it can be really small corridors that are like having maybe 5 or 6 little small tile pieces, and it's like all close quarters. You have to build the story off the set piece. So like where have you found like the most challenging to like, I guess, like captivate a group of people to like really sell themselves in this?
Yeah. So because it's sort of like a dungeon crawler, less like an open world sort of, like I'm more used to like the open world sort of sandbox settings, right? But I think the same is true of both type of things, right? Like even if it's just a dungeon crawl, to get the players engaged, you have to make the characters the most interesting part of the story.
Because I was gonna do voices. I'm like,
well, yeah, but not even like the NPCs, like the actual player characters. Like, so there has to be something that they can engage with on a personal level, like that only their character can engage with. So whatever the backstory for that character might be, there's got to be something small in each part of this dungeon, or maybe in like these 4 strongholds. If you're running for like 4 players, there's something that only their character can do or would know about based off their backstory, based off their class or whatever, however the game works. Because it's those sort of things where it's like, yeah, you can work as a team and get through the whole thing, but then, you might get somebody who sort of takes lead of the group, and then everybody sort of, sinks back into just like rolling dice and drinking beers. Like, so you want something where like everybody has their thing to go in. So, if your classes are like distinct enough, you're not all just a variation of like a fighter, say in the D&D terms, but there's something in my backstory that when I see this glyph or this control panel, if it's 40k, that like only I know how to access that, or I recognize the symbol painted on the wall, and then I can like, oh, actually I can tell people about this. So now like you're not just a player in the game, you're a character in the story, and the things are actually going to progress the game. So I think it's like working with people to like not overwhelm them with like making a backstory for their character, but give me something so that I can take that little nugget you give me and then I can make a whole story around it, type of thing.
See, like I've only ran a couple of games like D&D, but I am a complete like control freak. So like if you're playing in my game, like I am God, like I make the decisions. Like you're in my jungle and that's it. But usually like I think a couple of months ago I was playing with like a group, and there was about like 6 or 7 people, so it was like fairly large.
Yeah.
And there was like 1 or 2 people who actually have had experience, I guess, like role playing. So like, but the way I did the characters was like what you said, Matt, like have everyone be like a specialist in some way, but I would like openly like break the fourth wall, be like, mage, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, because like they were usually like someone who had like the mage role, but like they had no idea, like I guess like they've never done like role playing and stuff like that, so they were kind of a bit like shy, I guess. But I usually just like openly be like, what are you doing now? Yeah. Like, because like, yeah, like the way I see it is like, for example, like we would have like the group like kind of have a discussion, then move forward or something like that. And so like there were a few times where like some party of the members would like scout up ahead, but then I'd like pause the game and I'd be like, what are you guys doing right now as they're doing this? So like I guess like constantly trying to like engage people, and force them to do it.
To that point too, like I would never lock the story progression behind a role, right? Like you can like say we have to get past this door, for example, in order to get to the next part of the story. There might be like a few different ways we can go about, like if the door is closing and we fail the check to slide under the door really cool, then maybe somebody grabs the door and they're holding it up and that takes a roll. But if there's a way that we can fail and then not be able to progress, then that sort of kills the game. And then everyone sort of just stood there with their hands in their pants like, I don't know what to do. I tried the investigation already. It didn't work,
What do you want from me, God? What do you want from me?
Yeah. So like also because it was kind of a spur of the moment with that particular game. So like I didn't really have that much time to like come up with a backstory. It was like, hey, what are you guys doing tomorrow night?
Yeah.
So I was like making everything up on the fly. And that was probably the hardest thing, was like coming up with alternatives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, I had like the DM book. It was like the D&D like starter thing, like the Fandelver mine. Yeah. And like I was just like flipping through and I was like, I guess that NPC is gonna die, or like I just like, yeah. So like, but yeah, like definitely having alternate routes and stuff like that. Like, yeah. So like people could always like, I guess, engage and use their talents, so it's not always like the same person who's doing it.
Yeah. You want like, not only can like their character sheet let them do things in the game, like actually like physical like progression when we're talking about like minis and stuff like that, and like they're rolling, but also like give them a reason to care. So maybe at the end of the dungeon is someone they fucking love, or it's been captured or whatever the case, and change that however you see fit. But like I think having a reason for the player to care as well as giving them the abilities to actually change the world around them, that's how you sort of get like engagement.
Yeah, because like it's really cool with the I guess like that how the template of the just Blackstone Fortress is in general when you're playing it. You have like a die that's kind of like your centralized. Everyone has like your kind of like dice for movement, yada yada. But there's like a Blackstone dice, and it's like kind of like an event where like if you kill a certain section of enemies, you can roll the Blackstone and they reinforce. So it's like if they hit a certain number gap, that number of like that number of the unit will come back, and it's really cool because like so I did like a mini one. I did like a Tau like sniper that I introduced, and I built like a player sheet for him, and I did like put a bunch of like customize them and like with that I had to like make kind of like a mini like we had to like rescue him, and it was fun because you could do like little like doors and gateways that one player has to sit up, and like everyone has to go into this room, and so you like kind of cut the teams in half a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just like having the kind of like roll and shoot mechanic where you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna start blasting rounds off in this hallway, and especially with a bunch of greenskins just hitting the corner, like I'm blasting. Little Danny DeVito just sitting in front, big Colts just popping down the corridor. But yeah, I mean, I'm super excited, man. Like, and like the orc set for painting wise is like here. I haven't got them, but I have like a couple main guys here. Hope it looks good, but I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, there's that's just the captain. This is my big boy. This is the war boss.
Man, it's funny when you say orc, I pictured goblins for some reason.
Yeah, well, like they have like they're called like the snotlings or little goblins, and so like
Grots.
But they're like I was aggressive. Sorry, I came to that mic heavy. But it's fun because like there's like the little ones you can get the little goblins. They can go around and. I was thinking about like them like stealing objectives or moving them around like deeper into like the fortress. You have to like what's oh my god, what's the for the little thing from Dark Souls, the little lizard thing that you had to hit for to get like Titanite shards.
Like a crystal lizard?
Yeah, crystal lizard just sneaking around the treasure, just walking away from you. You gotta catch that. Little crystal lizard. So yeah, man, I'm excited for that. So it's something that's on the works right now, and when it's finished, I can't. Especially the army, I can't wait to show it off. It's like a new paint for me, so it's like a whole different system and shading.
And so the army that you're painting for this, is this like the NPC like bad guys your squad's going up against, or are they the people?
Well, like I can actually play the combat patrol pack. I can like 100% play. Like pretty much comes like it's like $100. It's like $180, and then I got a couple other like models as well. So it was like $230, but pretty much like full set army can play like most like my points will be enough to like play like full matches. Like I have like a full chaos one that we've used for Blackstone as well. And I think I might buy like a Lord of the Rings set. I think for Christmas price, dude. I like it. Yeah, dude. I was thinking like the Eastern Men, bro, because they're such a sick little model to paint. And I was because like not this is connected, but Mike, he's a carpenter, my roommate. He's like a big like painter as well. He got me into it, but we were thinking about doing like design pieces, like do like little miniature for like movie designs, like or movie sets and tables. We thought that would be such a cool idea. And you do like kind of like a glass case, and you put like do like a Lord of the Rings scene or something like that for somebody, and you put it in like the table and like fill it up. We were just like, we should totally do that.
So sick, yeah.
So sick, dude. So sick.
Little Helm's Deep into the coffee.
Yeah,
table.
bro. Is this all you could muster? Oh yeah, but that's pretty much it, man. That's what's going on for me right now. And yeah, it was cool. I just wanted to bring that to the table, and two experts in the conversation. So.
Experts.
Dude.
Well, yeah, you'll have to let us know how it went next time.
Absolutely, man, definitely.
What army do you usually use? Is it just chaos only, or?
Yeah, I mean, I this will be my second army, so I only had a chaos army that I could play with. But now. Yeah, now they got the orcs. Like I was thinking about maybe getting like a small space marine pack, and we can do like kind of like smaller combat patrols with like all three of the races. And then Mike's got like another chaos set as well, so we can do kind of like enough for if we wanted to bring in like a third or fourth party, we have a table big enough to do it, so it'd be like fun to do. But I just got like not that I also connected, but I got like Total War Warhammer 2, and oh my god, I've just been crushing that. Absolutely sitting there. It's enough to get my young heart beaten.
So. Grey Knights for life.
Yeah, baby.
So how does BlackStone work though? Is it like you have a group of people that you're running the game for? Do they play one character each, or do they play?
Yeah, so like the characters, anyone can play any character. So you like build off the character. So there's like every time you complete a mission, there's like a reward and money currency you can get. Spend it on cards that can give you like better gear, better stats. But it's not like game changing where your character like. I mean, there are some like unique weapons that you get, and you're kind of like, well, I'm like really hard to kill. But everything's very balanced where it's mostly depending on your rolls. Like if you can't roll and you can't hit, like, you're kind of like suck. So, and the cool thing is that when a character dies, you're just regardless of where it is, if a character dies, we like reset the entire thing. So wow. It really keeps it cool because like some characters get like really good, and then someone comes in and like excommunicados, like no bueno. Now we take all the cards away, you reset your like original stats, which is
wow.
But the game's not like built, it's just like built around like how good are you in dice? Like can you hit those hits? And sometimes like last night we had it was on Sunday, we were playing a game with a guy named Alex, and we were like pretty close to like all dying. And it was like fuck, that was tough. That was wow.
Have either of you ever been in a TPK?
TPK?
Like a total party kill?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. We did one where we actually didn't even count the game because it was so fast. We were all baked one night, and we were sitting there and we like pulled. It was like kind of like an ambush, and it had like, and then like with the ambush you like get like randomized enemies, and we got like an HQ like Chaos Lord, all Chaos Space Marines, but like hit like a truck, and like you're just normal people, right, in the universe. So, like these guys are like absolute machines running around the map, just shooting you from like God knows where. Yeah, we all died like fourth or fifth turn in, and we're like, wow, are we counting that? And we're like, oh no, I didn't see it. So it's the only time we were kind of like, okay, that's fair. That was bad. Yeah, we all of us died. It was bad.
Yeah, we had I remember one time it was like one of the only other times I ever like DM'd a game for D&D, and there was like one guy in the group, he could not like roll to pass a single check. It was insane. Like it statistically, it didn't make sense. Like he couldn't get above 10 on anything. Like it was nuts. Like I don't think he hit a single person, but he was like supposed to be like the tank of the group.
Oh no.
Yeah, like he was just like a generic fighter who just like couldn't fight. And then like
that's a good character.
Like he was an absolute pacifist. It was weird because then like you get like schmirked at like every single encounter, and then like okay, like it was supposed to be like total party kill, but
did you judge him? Did you judge him really hard?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see. I would be kind of scared to like not perform well in any type of dice rolling in front of you. I feel like it'd be a very intense moment. You have a look. I don't think you look at me to be like.
Yeah, Will actually rolls really well in our D&D game.
Yeah. Mind you, that's because I'm playing as a bard.
Yeah.
But,
comes with his own dice set, sets it up on the table. Just like, I mean, business.
Yeah, it's all loaded too, weighted.
Yeah.
No, that was insane. So like we had to get rid of the party kill, but like that's definitely like what I would prefer to play, because if you die IRL, you die in fantasy.
Yeah, I've definitely had characters in my games die. I've definitely had my own characters die a couple times. It sucks, but it's part of the game. But then you get to make a new character.
It was a long game too. Like it was like 5 hours, and it was like, what the fuck, man? Like,
dude, I'm talking characters who have died after like you played them for like a year, and then you get one bad roll, and now the dragons got you pinned and die in hellfire.
Just don't fight
dragons. Man. And it's not Shrek 1, bro. You're not marrying the
No.
dragon. Look.
I had yeah, you
You
remember
roll for
Rhubar?
that?
Rhubar was he played my game. He had a couple characters die, to be fair, but one of his characters died because he refused to leave another character behind. And then they both just ended up getting murdered by a Baylor or something.
Oh
One of the
my.
like very high level demons. They just got wrecked.
Yeah, I would be running, man. I'd be dropping anybody. Hits
Yeah,
that
he was
No.
running away and he like jumped off his wolf and was like, I won't leave him. I was like,
I'll come back and get you. I'll come back and,
oh, I'll leave him without you. Smirked.
as I'm riding on my wolf, I could be like out the door.
Yeah, but because it was like such like a cool like scene, I guess you could call it. He missed a couple of his rolls, but as the DM, I was just like, it hits. I just like fudged the dice rolls a little bit just so he could die cool.
Just getting spanked, man. Just getting spanked.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
It was funny because like the other party members were like getting upset because the guy couldn't roll. So they like started killing him too. Because like once
No. That's fucked up.
No, fuck that guy, bro. Did he play, like, was he new to like D&D? Just, or like,
he was new, but he was like super like active. Like he was like he was definitely like in the conversation the whole time. He just had like probably the worst luck I've ever seen in my life. Like
The character is just not meant to be bad.
Like 1 out of a million chats to like fuck up, but he did it like 20 times. So
damn, man.
Yeah, it was whack, and we were all using the same set of dice as well. So
it wasn't even just like he got the bum pair.
Yeah,
he had no excuse.
Terrible.
You didn't have the heart of the cards, man. You didn't have the heart of the cards.
He had bad fingers. That's all.
All right, well, what do you got for us today? Bad fingers.
Bad fingers, man. Your fingers are bad. Yeah. So not gonna lie, I actually had a lot of